It's Friday. Friday Night Pint is back again, once again. My name's Nicky Hawkins. Welcome along to West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. Live, obviously. You can get your comments in the comment section down below or to the side, wherever you're looking at it. As I said, my name's Nicky Hawkins. We're back with the original crew, Ryan. What's happening?
Well, one bit of them. It's only me
Yeah,
and you.
yeah, me and you. Yeah, well, it is the original crew.
Oh yeah, we're the co-founders of the channel.
We're the OGs, as they say. But it's been a while, hasn't it, since we've been together on this? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's obviously the last few months and weeks. It's just been difficult to get everyone together, but obviously we are going to all sit down and get everything sorted and for next season. We haven't fell out either. Like no, I had someone come up to me at the E13 event the other week, and he was a bit pissed, and he was like, he went to me, "Why aren't you on the telly no more?" I went, "I've never been on the telly." He went, "You know, the YouTube thing." I went, "Oh no, I've just had a few things like where I was out of work, getting my life sorted." He went, "Oh, well, you ain't fell out of them, are you?" I went, "No." He went, "Good, you're a good bunch," and then he just walked off.
There's a lot of these rumours flying about that we've felt falling out. Listen, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to divulge too much into it but there's a lot going on. It maybe one day it'll be told, maybe one day it won't. But it is what it is. But no, we haven't fallen out. We never fall out. We're lifelong friends. We're not going to fall out over some fucking stupid, West Ham fucking argument or whatever. We're never going to fall out. We'll always be mates. But yeah, we haven't fallen out. There's just shit going on.
No, everyone's got something. I mean, Scott's got a lot going on at the moment with his work, and Graham as well, and Dan's got a lot going. It's just that unfortunately this is not a full-time job for us, so other priorities have to come first. But yeah, we will be back next season and cracking on with it and entertaining you as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, as much as there is going on, there isn't a lot going on because we spoke about it a lot last week. Look, we'll touch on bits and pieces of it last week. Listen, if you want to get involved and put some subjects in there, we're quite happy to get around to them. But the only thing I could see this week that was sort of caught my eyes, but despite getting one of those, here we go from what's his name, Fabrizio Romano.
Oh yeah,
it looks like the deal for the defender, the first signing of the season, Fabrizio Bruno, has broken down at the last minute. Listen, we'll talk a little bit about the Lucas Paqueta stuff in a second, but this is not a good start for Lopetegui. I mean, he's had a lot to deal with as he's come in, right? His first sort of signing breaking down, although it looked like it was on the cards. But apparently this is due to interest from Saudi Arabia. Now, he's a Brazilian kid. It looks like we're looking at a lot of Brazilian signings. I think there's an 18-year-old kid as well they're looking at. But it looks like Saudi Arabia could become a thorn in the mid-table club sides because if they declare interest, there's obviously big financial incentives to go there rather than the Premier League. Listen, has our transfer plans been like thrown into chaos a little bit? Nothing seems to be going right at the minute.
First of all, if you're choosing Saudi League over Premier League, it's all about money. It's not. It's never about football. It can't be. The Saudi League's dead. The crowds, you don't want to go out and play out of there in front of a few hundred people when you can be playing in packed out stadiums week in, week out. So it's all down to money at the end of the day. And a lot of these football players do follow that. They do follow the money, even as a young Brazilian who I think he's only got 2 or 3 caps for Brazil. I'm sure I read it that he made his debut against England at Wembley. I do remember obviously watching that game. I don't know too much about him. I don't know whether he's going to be our answer at the back, but we conceded a lot of goals last season. I think it was like 74 goals in the Premier League, which is ridiculous, So, but yeah, it's obviously with the Paqueta situation. I think we was relying on his sale to budget a lot of our transfer activity in the summer, and it doesn't look like that's going to be happening now. And so, there's going to be a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes, and obviously, as I said before, we went on. We hosted a Colton Cole evening at the Brewdog at Upminster last night, and Colton Cole touched on it quite a bit of what they're trying to do behind the scenes with the youngsters. And Colton Cole's obviously got a new role at the club where he's in charge of the loan players that go out. And I think the Lopetegui next season, he's going to be looking a lot into the youth. I think we're going to have to rely a lot on the youth, because I don't think we're going to be able to spend big in the summer and bring in. I think we will have to look abroad for these free transfers and loan signings. And I'm a bit sort of, I don't really know what to expect next season, if I'm honest.
I mean, he has got a big job ahead of him. A defender, to me, I think it's got to be a number one priority. I know that there's striker issues at the club, but we've got people like Jared Bone and Mo Kudus that can, that chip in with the goals. But the way we conceded goals last year, and the problems we had in defence, I think it's got to be a priority as a defender. Probably two, to be honest with you.
I think three, mate. I think we need a massive overhaul in the summer. We need a lot of players in, because there's going to be a few players. Obviously, Bonner's going to be leaving the club. It looks like, I know they're talking about giving Creswell another year extension. That could be down to Lopetegui, because I think he was the one that tried to sign Aaron Creswell for Wolves. So that might be why he wants to stay. So, but we need, I'm just, as I said to you last night as well, I'm a bit not worried about next season, but I'm a bit, I don't know what to look, I don't know what I'm expecting next
season. Nervous, a bit worried.
Yeah, because I think that Lopetegui, for me, I think if we would have got European football this season, I don't believe he'd be our manager. I think once we got knocked out against Leverkusen and we knew league-wise we probably weren't going to get it, I think that was his option. That was the club's option. I think that if we would have got Europe, with the managers that are out of work at the moment, we probably might have attracted another manager. But look, I'm going to get behind Lopetegui. I want him to do well. I'm hoping that he can change it and bring the style of football that we want to see at West Ham. Fans entertained, winning games, and obviously not conceding as many goals.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to more seeing, what he brings. What difference does he bring? Because, I'm going to be honest. I'll be honest with you. As I said, I liked Moyes, and I respect the job that he done for such a long time. But the football become boring, And we were still, as I said, we was talking to Colton Cole last night. He become reliant on the same 14, 15 players, which, and I was saying to him, do you think that, some of these people are going to get a bit of a reprise, a little bit of a second chance? People like Cornet, Danny Ings, and he didn't look too, what's the word? He didn't look too confident that he would. Maybe he knows that, maybe he don't. I know he works in the club.
I think that players like Danny Ings, I think, will be leaving the football club. I think with his wage and what he offers and, his age, I think, he's already been linked with a move back to Southampton. Perfect move for him. Newly promoted club, played there before. Cornet, you never know. Fresh start under a new manager. Ben Rama coming back. Obviously, Leon don't look like they're going to take up the option to sign him. As we spoke about last night, a lot of youth players will be given a chance in pre-season to show their worth. You see that we was linked with that Sheffield United goalkeeper during the week. Like, I think that's the sort of, we're going to be looking at cheap signings and a lot of loan signings, because as someone said there, we've allegedly got 85 million to spend. That's without the Paqueta money. So that's why they was looking to get 85 to 100 million for Paqueta to add to that transfer budget. But yeah,
doesn't that worry you a little bit that we've only got that? I mean, when I look at the books from last year, apparently they're pretty healthy, and we should have quite a bit of money to spend.
Well, obviously you look at the European run the season before, and we made 100% profit on Declan Rice, £100 million. So, financially we are a stable club. You look at teams like Everton and Nottingham Forest, you see what's happening to them. So I wouldn't want West Ham to ever go down that route. and overstep the FFP and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't really understand it, all that. I know the basics of it, but I'm not really a sort of person that looks into all the money situation and things like that. Maybe because I'm shit at maths, but I understand it, and I don't want to see West Ham going into ever be in that situation where we get points.
I mean, listen, you probably just answered your own question there. How is it that we can't scrap together 80 million quid to spend because of FFP?
80 quid, it ain't that bad.
Well, by the sounds of it, it may be, 85 million quid to spend. Listen, and we've got a lot of positions to fill with that money. That's a lot of money. And then you see the likes of Chelsea spending £1 billion, planning to spend more. How does this work? As I said, you just see Everton getting docked points twice, Nottingham Forest getting docked points. It's madness.
Problem is with Chelsea is that they done it a smart way. They found a loophole where you sign players over 8 years and spread the cost and things like that. So there are ways around it. Look, Man City are still, it's all up in the air what's going to happen to them. Me personally, I don't think anything's going to happen to them. They might get a fine, they might get a transfer ban like Chelsea did, but they won't ever get deducted points. They're one of the Super Six, isn't they? They want the Man Cities in the Champions League and top of the tables. So they're gonna. I can't see anything happening to them. But then teams like Everton and Nottingham Forest, they're the ones that suffer. But if they broke the rules, they have to be punished as well.
Yeah, well, it is worrying times. As you say, 85 million quid. It looks like Lopetegui's come in. I think he's identified that he wants to get rid of a couple. Apparently, allegedly, Antonio is one of them. So straight away, you're going to be looking for a centre forward, and which is going to take a big, massive chunk of the budget. As I said before, Antonio can't carry on forever. He's 34, 35 years old nearly. He's not going to be able to lead that line forever. A new centre forward in that ilk costs a lot of money. As you say, they may have been relying on the Paqueta money, which it just seems sort of. I can't help it, Ryan. I know that it's old out and all that sort of thing, but it all circles round to, once we get in this stadium, we'll be able to compete. It looks like we're trying to, I know FFP comes into it in some points and factors, but if you wanted to believe what we wanted to, that was getting pushed by the agenda last year, is that we were in a very strong financial position with the 100%, sale of Declan. European runs, 3 years of European runs, semi-final, winner, quarter-final. If you're not going to have money, apart from getting in the Champions League, if you're not going to have money to spend after all of that, you're not going to have money to spend.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. There's definitely obviously a lot going on behind the scenes that fans don't get told about. You'd like to think that with the run we've had over the last few years, winning the competition, obviously the Declan Rice money, that we would be in a better financial situation. But I think maybe they've got to look at the rules, because they don't ever want to break them rules. So it's it is worrying times. It's not only worrying times for us; it's worrying times for a lot of football clubs. You look at Newcastle, the richest club in the world, but they can't spend the money.
Yeah,
it's. But then you go and see, as you said, Chelsea spend $1 billion. Man City spend. To be fair to Man City, though, they don't ever spend. I know they paid 100 million for Grealish, and but apart from that, their major signings haven't been overly priced. People say about Liverpool, they paid a lot of money for Van Dijk and Alisson and players like that. So you've got to be in the Champions League really to pay that sort of money for players. The day I see West Ham pay £100 million for a player. I remember going crazy when we paid $5 million for Don Hutchinson back in 2000 and whatever it was, one.
That
was like a record signing at the time.
Yeah, £4.5 million, I think it was. I think the rumoured one was Arsenal won it at $5 million, but it ended up being £3.5 million. But football's gone great. As I said before, I don't see how this sort of stuff. This FFP's come in to sort of curb the spending, but it's already got out of control. The whole situation with football at the moment, for me, is it's gone already. Like, you know, you've got to this point where the money involved has bumped up the wages and the expectation and the agents fee. You're getting agents being paid more than fucking record transfer fees 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like for transfers, you know, you're talking about like a Declan Rice transfer at 20% would be £20 million. You know, 10 years ago or 20, 30 years ago, you know, Alan Shearer was the world record transfer fee at £15 million. You're getting agents getting paid that now. You know, it's gone out of control. 300, 400, 500,000 pounds a week to players and all that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden they want to come in and go, actually, you can't spend that money anymore. Like, it's an absolute farce, to be honest with you.
It's only over, you think about it though, over the last 10 years, you've had a lot more clubs competing, not for the title, but for that top four. You look at what Leicester done, you look at what Villa have done, Newcastle done, West Ham over the last 10 years, we've been up and around that. You know, we nearly got into the Champions League one year. So, but they don't want clubs like us in the Champions League. You know, they want Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, the big names. You know, they want them sort of teams in the competition, which they're trying to make it unfair on them mid-table teams or the teams that are trying to break that top four. They're trying to stop them somewhere. And that's why I loved it this season that Aston Villa done it. They done it on the pitch and they couldn't find any way to screw Aston Villa over. So fair play to Villa. But next season, I'm sure they'll get screwed over in the Champions League and probably in the league as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I just see it a couple of days ago. God forbid if this geezer gets injured. But Kudus has been called up to the World Cup qualifying squad over in Ghana 2 days ago. A couple of days ago that was. God forbid he gets injured. If he gets injured, we could be in big trouble.
Well, yeah, there's also rumours that, you know, there's going to be a few teams after him in the summer. And look, you've got to expect that when you've got players like him at your football club. We've had it over the last 2 years.
Do you think, sorry, mate, to interrupt you, but do you think Paqueta being banned could, you know, because look, there's rumours that he's got a release clause next year, the same way as Paqueta had 2 years contract. And then a release clause, if you know, a minimum release clause. But do you think they could accelerate maybe a sale of maybe Bowen? I know Bowen's, you know, looking.
Well, if Bowen goes, Bowen's going for a high price because he just signed a new 7-year deal last season. So, and I know someone just said there about maybe Bowen going to Liverpool, but I think maybe under Klopp, yes. But now Klopp's left because Klopp was obviously a big fan. I think if one player was going to go to Liverpool, I'd probably say it'd probably be Kudus at the moment. But no, I think there'll be a lot of players that, as much as they respected Moyes and they've all come out and, you know, they said they like working with Moyes, a fresh face around the training ground, around the club. I'm a bit gutted that some of the backroom staff have left. I think they should have kept hold of someone like Kevin Nolan, you know, just to have that, because you've got 5 or 6 new people going in the changing room. You know, it would have been nice to have someone there to have that connection between the players and the coaching staff. But look, it's football. It's a harsh business, football. You know, we've seen players we love leave the football club. We've seen managers and coaches leave that. So, but yeah, for me, with the Bowen situation, I don't think Bowen will be leaving the football club. I'll be very surprised if he does. If they had the choice to sell one of them two, I think the club would sell Kudus over Bowen.
Yeah, I think so as well. Although I do think, you know, Kudus has got, I'm not going to say more talent because that's, but he's, you know, I think he's more robust. I think he's, you know, his talent's gonna. I think he's just starting in the Premier League, whereas Bowen's been there for a little while. I think there's more to come from Kudus. Whether it'll ever come with us, I don't know. But yeah, that could accelerate us out because of the Paqueta. I mean, the Paqueta situation is weird. I mean, I know you haven't spoke about it at all on the thingy, right? What do you make of it all? Before we get into the comments, what do you make of all of this? Is it just, you know, I alluded to last week? Obviously, they was running out of time to charge him. If they just charge him so they can give themselves more time, you know, do you think there's something in it? Do you think, you know, we won't see him again? What's your feelings? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's sort of worrying times, isn't it? Because we have seen players banned for betting over the last few years. Obviously, Ivan Toney and the bloke that was at Newcastle. I know they're different situations, but what Paqueta's done. Look, if he's guilty, he's stupid. Like, but you're innocent to proven guilty. So I'm hoping that once they look into it properly, I think what you said right. They're running out of time, so they've just charged him. Paqueta would obviously appeal it. I think lawyers talk. So let's just hope that. I'd hate to see him get banned. I'd hate to see West Ham lose out on such a talent. I'd hate to see the football world lose out on such a talent, because Paqueta, even though he's got his faults, is a class player. And on his day, he's one of the best, especially at our football club. So for us to lose him and for him to not have a football career, because he'd never be able to play football again. You see that there was, I think it was a lower league player that had one breach and he got banned for 10 years. So if you're going to go by that, then Paqueta gets a 40-year ban. But the difference between having a non-league player having a lawyer and a Brazilian international having a lawyer, and I know that some of the yellow cards might look dodgy, but you can't prove that he made them fouls. It's got to be very hard to say, yeah, he did, because when you look at them, yeah, he's going for the ball. Okay, the only one that looked a bit dodge was the Bournemouth one, I think.
Yeah.
But look, it's worrying times. But
the one that looked dodgy is the Bournemouth one. I agree with that, right? I've looked at all of the 4 fouls. Listen, every one of them was a 50-50 chance. He's a rash player, yeah. And this is why I'm more confident. That one with the what was it? Bournemouth. When he punched that's the one when he punched the ball, right? Yeah. That happened in the 94th minute, 92nd minute, 93rd minute, something like that. This is the thing that makes me question whether this is like, the legitimacy of this. If you've got people that have got a bet on, right now, they've got this bet on over in Brazil. This is the alleged what do you call it? Charges, right? The alleged charges. And they're relying on you getting a yellow card. Do you wait to the 92nd minute to punch the ball away?
I would say no. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the betting pattern, whether they've said that he's going to get booked between a certain time or something like that.
I understand that, but that is a risky thing to do. He could get injured before that. He could get substituted before that. They could blow up before that. You know what I mean? I just think it's very, I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's not for me to really go too much into it, because we don't know behind the scenes. He's only been, we only know what gets said on the press or what Paqueta has said himself. So let's just hope that the situation gets sorted. I think someone said there that he's been cleared by the Brazilian FA and he can play in the Copa America. So let's just hope that it all gets sorted and we'll see Paqueta in a West Ham shirt next season. Fingers crossed.
Well, funny enough, right? You say that, and obviously it's a serious charge. I was listening to Matt Letizia podcasts. Did you hear that, the Matt Letizia thing, when he was admitting to people paying him to get yellows for spread betting and all that sort of thing? And obviously that was that Paul Kitson one. Remember when we was away to Old Trafford and he kicked the ball straight out?
Oh yeah.
But he did basically admit that. He said he used to go into a Ladbrokes by the Dell. It's about 800 yards. He used to go in there and bet on himself to score the first goal. And no one ever batted an eyelid. And he said, and then some geezers were saying about spread betting and yellow cards and all of that, or throw-ins and all that sort of thing. He goes, if we can get a throw-in within the first 10 seconds, or the other team get a throw-in within the first 10 seconds, so he used to kick the ball straight out of play.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Obviously he can't be charged now. He don't give a shit. Either way,
football ain't the only sport where there's corruption and things like that go on. But obviously, it's our player, so it's highlighted a lot more now for us. So I'm just hoping that it does get sorted for him, because not only for our sake, because it'll be a big loss for us as a football club, financially as well.
Financially, I think you would. I think it'd be a big loss to football altogether if he, if something like that ended up costing him his career. I think that's crazy. But let's take some comments before we get into the next one. A Brazilian journalist said, Bruno, his wife is pregnant and he's settled. It would take a big wage to get him to move, apparently. I doubt very much we're going to be paying him peanuts, mate. You know what I mean? Like, Navadius Wilburn says, you all just got to chill out. This is very normal to start our transfer window. What's up with the overreacting? Not really overreacting, mate. It's just we're stating facts. We're stating facts. Like transfer dealings are going to be, based on certain things. And we've lost one signing. We've obviously lost someone who we thought we was going to sell, which is a big chunk of the thing. It's not overreacting. It's just trying to sort through the shit and see what's going to stick and what's not. West Ham fans are embarrassing. Us Arsenal fans are sick of you lot. Good, mate.
Oh, is it because we didn't win you the league title? You should have beat us at the Emirates, then you would have won it.
Are you looking forward to know more Moyes ball? It says Borough fan. Yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, you just got to see what what style Lopetegui's going to play. I mean, it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing, a different brand of football next season. But as I said, look, I'll always respect David Moyes for what he's done for the football club, giving me, it's coming up to a year since that final in Prague, and I'd give anything to live over them 4 days over again.
Oh, do you know what? Right, it's funny enough you say that. Did you watch the final the other night?
Yeah, what, the Olympiacos Fiorentina? Yeah.
I lost it in exactly the same circumstances.
Yeah, it wasn't great with the finals. I mean, not many finals are great, but that one weren't great. But yeah, Olympiacos being in their rival stadium as well, winning their first ever European trophy. Mad.
Funny enough, we beat them this season. Do you know what?
They was in our group.
They was in our group. That could have been us again, right? West Ham Fiorentina final.
Yeah, I know.
If we'd have got knocked out of the group, could have been us again. Excluding Paqueta, allegedly we have £85 million to spend. I think that I think that's about right. But there's a lot to replace for 85 million. There's obviously going to be sales as well, but I'm going to be honest with you. From what I'm looking at in the squad, there ain't a lot of resale value on a lot of these players. Like there's like people like Zuma. We paid £30 million for him. I don't think you're going to get 10. I mean, his knees are gone. I don't think he'd pass the fucking medical anywhere else. Most of our transfer windows are nothing but a disaster. How many times do we read deal done only to be let down? I don't really read into it. That's why I don't read into it, because I don't read into transfers until they're pictured in the shirt and they're signed the contract. I don't read into none of that shit, to be honest with you. Just because of that, just because you never know what might happen. I'm currently watching this in my new helmet. What? Have to break it in. What's a Rorik toxin? I don't know what the fuck that says. I don't know why that one's been. Anyone know what the best way to get a ticket, if not a season ticket holder? It's been to become a member, I believe, of the club, and then we go for the members.
Get in with someone in the ticket office, and they'll slip your tickets for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. The positives are we appear to be looking to do our business early. However, I do think Styler needs to come back from Brazil with some signings. I'm sure he will.
Lopetegui don't officially start until, is it the 1st of July, but he's working behind the scenes now. I'm sure that the club are working hard. Like I said, Tim Stuyton is looking at signings already, potential signings. So it's one of them transfer windows that's difficult because there's a tournament going on.
Yeah,
You probably won't see most signings get done until after the Euros, because players then go away. So it'll be sort of like more mid-July, probably a week before the end of the season. So, it's one of them transfer windows. But just
what, right? I don't know whether it's because of we've had these couple of years of obviously Euro 2020 got delayed to 2021, and then you had the World Cup in December. It doesn't feel like a tournament summer at the minute. It doesn't feel like it.
I was saying this to someone today that it don't feel like there's a Euros coming up, because it don't feel as hyped up. But I reckon by probably next week is when you'll start seeing all the pubs with their flags up, and obviously after the Champions League finals, Sky Sports would be going mad over it, and Sky Sports News would be talking about it every day. England have obviously got a friendly. Their first friendly's on Monday. So then you start getting to look at a lot of the players and see who's going to make the squad, and unfortunately, someone's got to miss out.
Yeah, I'm sure Jared will be going. I'm sure of it. But we'll I think we'll update that on Monday. Is it Monday the squad's announced?
No, there's 2 friendlies in there, so we play Friday and I think Monday and Friday. I think something like that.
Yeah, and then it'll be. I think it's next Monday. Actually, I don't think it's this Monday. I think it's next Monday.
Because I think the friendly on Monday is again at Wembley, and I think the second one is at St James's Park.
Yeah, is it?
I'm a big fan of going around the country. I loved it when England done that time when they used to go. They even played one at Upton Park against Australia.
I think they should have kept that. To be honest, I don't look. I'm not against using Wembley, and I know Wembley had to be paid for and all that sort of nonsense. But I'm not against it. I think it gives everyone a chance. I think it's fair. I think it's the only fair way to do it. England ain't in London. England should be going around the country. But there we go. But did you see this thing? I've got to say this before we carry on with these comments. That there's a law in Germany, right? Now, how mad is this? That if you get caught wearing a counterfeit England shirt, Germany shirt, whatever shirt it is, they can fine you €5,000 under copyright law.
Yeah, I see. Funny enough, I did see that on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and someone said you can't wear your 2006 England shirt that you bought in Benidorm on the cheap. Like, it's mad, isn't it? Like, I know that like the copies are getting so good now that you can't tell the difference. And if I've got the chance to pay £12 for a shirt, I'm going to pay that than pay £95 for an England shirt. I think the prices are ridiculous for football shirts now, like especially the England ones. I mean, now they can charge 75 quid for a normal one, and then the players one is like 105 quid for a football shirt.
Yeah,
£12, mate.
I think you're living in a. I think you're living in a police state when you're fucking doing that sort of thing. That's not good. That sort of thing, man. €5,000 to for the copyright, protecting people like Nike. Obviously, they're the ones that are setting these prices. These prices, they're known to, without all due respect, they're known to use sweatshops. These shirts are, they're produced very, very cheaply, and the money they're spending on them. It's another thing where we're going to end up fucking copping the bill for it. Do you know what I mean? Like €5,000 fines for wearing counterfeit shirts. I mean, what do you count as a counterfeit shirt? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if it don't have the logos in it? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think that's absolutely mental.
I just do what I always do, mate. Stick to the retros. I've got a few England retros, so they'll be going on in the summer.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not in this country, certainly not yet anyway, but they'll see how it goes and see how much money they make over there, I'm sure, before they bring something out of it. But we're living in a fucking world now where you can't do fuck all. There's no freedom anymore. That's for sure. Congrats, West Ham. Appoint a brilliant manager. We'll take him any day at Wolves over Gary O'Neill. Even some Wolves fans might be different opinion. I'm surprised you said that, mate. I am surprised you said that. I thought Gary O'Neill was doing very well.
No, he done quite a good job at Wolves, and I know that the fans were very obviously gutted when he left in the circumstances he left, and he hasn't been at a club since he left Wolves. So obviously Lopetegui's got a point to prove, but yeah, nice. It'd be interesting to hear from some more Wolves fans really about Lopetegui, their feelings on him, because I don't really know too much about him. I know that obviously he's with Seville and Madrid and all that, and he was in charge at the London Stadium when we knocked Seville out. And I don't get that in his video where he said that, yeah, when I lost, I thought one day I'm going to come back here and coach here. I thought, yeah, there's no way. He's saying things there to please the fans, but yeah, I don't think he has to really do a lot to please our fans.
No, absolutely not. Let's take the rest of his comments then before we move on. We have enough players to get rid of some. There should be some money coming in. As I said, I don't think there's much sell on value in a lot of them players. Either Stuyden can rustle up great players on a shoestring, or he can't. Which is it? All I've ever heard is what a genius he is. Well, let's see. You know, let's give him a chance. That's what I would say. Where's the Skamaka money? Where's the Kera money? Fornell's money? That's about £45 million alone. It's a joke every year, not much money. Do you know what? That's just reminded me. Is Ben Rama coming back?
Yeah, I mean, Leon, he was only on loan to Leon, wasn't he? So,
Yeah.
and I don't think they've taken up the option to sign him. So, yeah, he should be back in pre-season, whether someone else will come in for him. I think it could be a fresh start from Ben Rama. I like Ben Rama. I think maybe under Lopetegui, new ideas, new formation, get yourself fit. He could
Under
be
the
a good player.
circumstances where a certain Brazilian can't play.
Yeah, he could be a big it could be a big chance for him at West Ham, because I think that, look, on his day, we know he can be a good player, but he is frustrating at times. But let's just see, give him a chance. It might be a fresh start for him and us.
Yeah, absolutely. Sullivan will always use the risk of FFP and points deduction, even though we are nowhere near it. Perhaps breaking the financial guidelines against the lenient point stocking could be worthwhile for those who are consistently around the relegation zone. Yeah, I know what you're saying now. If we need to watch the budget, why are we in talks with Sunderland for Divine?
Yeah, that was something that obviously Colton Cole touched on last night, which gutted me a bit. He sort of basically said that Ben Johnson and Mubama look like they are going to be leaving the football club. Mubama, I'm a bit surprised with, because I thought he might have stayed. New manager. He got a chance under Moyes. Towards the end of Moyes' reign, he didn't really play Mubama a lot. He was always on the bench, never got a chance. But with a new manager coming in, get his head down in pre-season. But then I understand, look, football players just want to play football. They do want to play football. And he's had a taste of first-team football. So if he has to drop down, look, Sunderland's a big football club, so it could be a good move for him. But I'll be gutted if he does. Ben Johnson as well. I thought Ben Johnson done quite well towards the end of the season. Very versatile. It played everywhere last season. He reminded me a bit of Antonio, when Antonio, 1 week he's at right back, 1 week he's in midfield, 1 week he's left back. So, yeah.
I quite liked his midfield cameos.
I just like the way he used to come on and he was chucked in centre midfield and he was smiling like it was the best thing ever, because he was it was just like, when you put a Sunday League player on in a position they're not used to and they just go on and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. The PFA said players will go on strike. Our players were on strike most of last season. Go on strike about what? What are they going to go on strike about? I think we need to manage our expectations around our youth players breaking into the first team and being regulars. I think you're right, mate. As I said, we'll be talking about this in the second back the Colton Cole interview. He did sort of touch on that, but you have to give these people a chance. They're not getting a chance.
Someone just said there, and I was meant to say this earlier about West Ham apparently linked with a move for Diagana, about £7 million. I'll tell you what, if he comes back, I think David Sullivan's a business genius if he does, because he sells him for 17, buys him back for 7. He comes back older and probably a better player, but I don't know if that was any truth in that, but someone said there, did they read that the other day? And I read that as well, that we was linked with Diagana. So
maybe Diagana coming back, eh?
Yeah.
Bit of depth. Everyone's got a price, says Lucas P. I think they were talking about when we were talking about Kudus. Bowen should be our main striker. He's proven in a role that he scored the majority of goals for up front. As for Kudus, I would like to see him in our midfield. He would free up space for our attackers. Need to find another Sacco or Demba Ba, cheap striker that fits the Premier League straight away. Mate, they're as rare as fucking unicorn shit, to be quite honest with you. The huge broadcasting money coming into the Premier League ain't going to last forever. The European Super League will come eventually and the broadcasters will switch their interest to this league. Then it's going to leave everyone fucked, to be quite honest with you. I think the backroom staff were all yes men to Moyes. Nevin, Pearce and Warburton confirmed that. Yeah, that's a bit sad, isn't it? That I think Kevin Nolan has left the club this week, which is the one that I'm thinking. But new managers come with new backroom staff. That's just the way it is. Not sure how many skillful / flair players like Kudus and Pack would ever thrive under a Moyes system. They didn't. I think it was individual brilliant. So they didn't really thrive under a system. I hoped we target more players whose best position is Bowens. Makes so much sense. I think we'll need at least 5. What? No idea what he's saying. And do you know what he's saying there?
I didn't read it. You took it off the screen as I started reading it.
Sorry, it said, I hope we target more players whose best position is Bowens. Makes so much sense. I think we'll need at least 5.
5, yeah. What he's saying is we need, like, I think he's trying to say we need 5 new signings. Yeah, I think that's what he's meaning.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to say. If that comes, Pack would be transferring his assets to his family members, and the whole thing is suspect. The charge is not based on footage, though. Many players get yellow cards on purpose to stop break-ins plays. The only thing that would get him done is a paper or digital trail. Otherwise, the case is dead. You know what? That's what they're looking for, and I don't think they found it, because like they've had them sort of phone records for a year. If they ain't looked at his fucking text messages in a year, then they ain't looked. Then they're idiots, because from what I heard, he's submitted over his phone and all that sort of thing. He was very like accommodating to sort of like the investigation. I just think it's a point of they're trying to look into more things, maybe look for more digital evidence. I honestly, I can't see how this has taken a year to look into, and they haven't got to the point where they've got anything concrete. I really don't. One player. If Paqueta is 100% confident he's not guilty as charged, if found by the FA Commission, then I can see this ending up in the High Court. Yeah, definitely could, mate. I think more and more football stuff's going to be ending up in the High Court. Apparently, the bet was counting on another player at Real Betis getting booked also. I've got 2002 England copy from Thailand, made in the same factory as the original. You really can't tell the difference apart from the two very discreet minor details.
Do you know what though? Like when you're saying about that, I said the kits these days are so, like, I see someone the other day and they've got the New England away shirt, right, that they got from DH Gate.
Yeah.
Wore it the other day. Honestly, you can't tell. The only thing you can tell on it is that the badge looks a little bit smaller, but everything else was spot on. And the badge, I didn't even notice the badge at first. But
to be fair, look, I know that there's, with these sort of counterfeit things, is as well as everything illegal, there's always linked to sort of like gangland stuff and all that sort of thing. But if they can afford to be selling these for £12, shipped, delivered to your door, brand new things, like, not used, not made with, I've looked at some of it. Yeah, look, some of the materials are a little bit more, a little bit cheaper. Some of the sewing and the stitching is a little bit, but in whole, they're pretty similar products, right? Yeah, they're pretty similar products. There's not a lot of differences between them. If they can afford to ship them off for €12, and things like that, like for a brand new shirt, it just goes to show you how much the others are taking the piss out of you. It is. Listen, look, I know it's big business and they've got to make money. I know there's corporations behind it, but these things they don't have to be this price. Okay, again, it's one of them things where they're just exploiting the fan. 5-6 years ago, there was 40 quid. Now they're 80 quid. You know what I mean? It's just mad. I just think it's mad. Yeah. Right. This is a subject that's come up. I ain't reading the live chat. I'm just in the thingy. So if you're typing in the live chat, I'm not reading it at the moment. What do you make of the new rules for the Carabao Cup European teams? This is Andy Miles, by the way. Not getting seeded against each other. So basically, they can't play each other in the Carabao Cup until, I think, I don't know what round it is, but yeah, European teams can't play each other. So you're not going to have a Manchester City, Manchester United. Well, actually, no, Manchester. They are in Europe. Yeah, Manchester City, Manchester United derby in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup. You're not going to have an Arsenal versus Aston Villa. They will all avoid each other. Is it another elitist rule, Roy?
To be honest, mate, that's the first I've heard of it. So I haven't read about it, or if that's the new rules, then that's just another way of making sure that 2 top teams are in the final every year.
Yeah. Listen, I do also get to the point where I know it's not too much in the Carabao Cup. The Carabao Cup's a lot different from the FA Cup, but it gives smaller clubs a chance to play the bigger clubs. Which someone from like League Two playing someone like Man United or Man City or Arsenal gives them a lot more revenue, which goes a long way. So that there are positives to it, but I just think they're changing the rules for the sake of changing the rules now.
I get what you're saying, but it also gives the smaller teams less of a chance of a cup run and get into a semi-final or a final and giving the fans a day out that they dream of. So, and when I say lower club, I mean like teams in the Championship as well. And the teams in the Championship some of them are just as good as what's in the Premier. I mean, if you see the 3 teams that went down this season in the Premier League, Burnley, Sheffield United, and not so much Luton, because I thought Luton done well, but Burnley and Sheffield United, are they any worse than what Ipswich and Leicester was in the Championship this season? So there's it's a strange one, but it's, as I said, it's another way of making Carabao make sure that they've got 2 top teams in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Fabrizio Romano, 12 minutes ago, saying Lewis Guilherme deal is very close. That's the 18-year-old Brazilian.
The thing is, though, mate, it'd probably be just another 18-year-old Brazilian that's going to come in and we'll loan him out. Everyone got excited the other year when we signed that centre back. No one see him.
Oh, Cardoso.
Yeah, everyone's going, he's the future. He didn't even get a look in.
I'll be honest with you. When we've got an academy so good as we have now, unless this kid's going to come in and absolutely fucking blow it, unless he's like a Wayne Rooney or a fucking Jude Bellingham or someone like that, someone that's playing fucking out world first team. I don't see the point in bringing these people in. We've got an academy there.
Yeah.
I don't see the point. Honestly, I don't see the point.
I mean, look, he could be the next big thing, mate. We don't know. He could be the next big Brazilian international. But
we had a good touch with Lanzini. Remember when we brought him in? 21-year-old kid. Nobody had even heard of, from Saudi Arabia. Was meant to be one of these kids that sort of like played in the under 21s for a few years. Circumstances forced him to play. Ended up being a fucking great player for us.
Yeah, no, there's always that. But one player we haven't mentioned yet, who had a great season in the Championship, was obviously Flynn Downs. And, he might come back next season a different player. I loved his interview the other day at the promotion party where he shouted out Irons when all the Southampton fans were singing "Sign him up" and all that. So I don't think that went down very well with the Southampton fans, but maybe he knows something. Maybe he knows he's coming back. But he had a great season. I watched the playoff final the other day and I thought he was man of the match. He had a great game.
He's a classy player. I feel like Moyes done him dirty a little bit. Like he was well worth a couple of starts at least. I think he would have played most of the season last season.
He's another player that could come back, new manager, something to prove. And maybe a season in the Championship was good for him. So look, and plus if he works out, you haven't got to sign a replacement for him, so you save a bit of money there that you can go and strengthen elsewhere.
Ben Rama to Leon is an obligation to buy if they stayed up, but they are now in an embargo, so if they clear, he is gone. Okay. I didn't know that. I don't know what is that, a transfer embargo? Maybe they just can't buy him. Somebody said they used him in the new kit promo. So if he's been used in the new kit promo, then he's staying, isn't he? Mole's going to a little bit of a joke. Yeah, Mole bored without football and trying to what? What I said?
Read the comment.
Bored without football, trying to find things to do. I went to see the world's biggest fan the other day. I was blown away.
I love silly jokes like that. They're the best ones. They're the best ones.
What am I pointing up here? Yeah, they use Ben Rama in a new kit reveal, so I guess he's staying. Carabao Cup, they don't want smaller teams in the final, Big Six only. Andy Miles, that idiot Paul Merson was calling for the FA Cup to be seeded the other month. Absolute joke. The competition should be left alone. The traditions will be ripped off. Yeah, they need to leave some of this shit alone, man.
Well, they've scrapped replays, didn't they, in the FA Cup now?
Yeah, yeah.
So
What do you make?
It's to suit the big teams because they're getting fed up with playing so many games. Well, if you're successful, you're going to play more games. So what do you want? Like, it's just ridiculous. Now, lower league teams, FA Cup is a magical cup. Like, it's got so much history and tradition in it, and we always like watching. Everyone loves seeing a lower league team get drawn out, and they want to see an upset. Everyone. So why take that away from football? Why don't you want to see Man United, Man City turning up at, like, I don't know,
Brutal.
Yeah, like these lower league teams, that's the magic of the FA Cup, to see them sort of players in them grounds and changing rooms. And
I'm going to tell you why, mate, because it doesn't make money. It doesn't make them money. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
If it was a competition that was filled with, like a Champions League competition, filled with like the Juventuses, the AC Milans, all of these. They'd have replays to the day. They'd keep on having replays if they could, but because it's lower league team, they don't want all that shit. They don't want it. That's fact.
That's why they need to get more proper football fans working at the FA instead of money grabbing Ponzi's.
Well, this is the thing, though, that right, it's now a brand. It's not a bit. It's now a brand and a business. It's not a football. It's not a competition anymore. It's a brand. Where's this new kit that Ben Ryan was photographed in? I can't find it anywhere online or even West Ham site social media page. No idea, mate. I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming. Listen, why are we always late with our kits? I've got to say this. Why are we always late? Like, I've seen the Arsenal one. I was working in near Arsenal today. There's posters everywhere. This new kit.
I can't. The Arsenal one. I don't know who designed that kit, but having blue and white on it, ain't that their rivals' fucking colours?
You know what? They had the same thing, didn't they, with Tottenham the other year. They had a kit with red in it, and they went fucking mental.
Well, Tottenham's when you watch Tottenham on the telly and you see their ground, all their advertising balls are red and white because of their sponsors. So they've got Arsenal colours all around their ground.
Yeah. I don't think they give a shit anymore. Should we start wrapping it up? Do you want to touch on anything?
Yeah, I mean, we can quickly mention about the Colton Cole night last night. Obviously, another night hosted at the Brewdog. It was a great night. Colton Cole was on great form. He's such a great person to interact with, and he's always got great stories. And there was a great crowd in there last night. But yeah, it was very interesting, some of the things he said. We will put the video up soon. We did record the first half. So yeah, no, it was a good night. It was a great night. I weren't feeling it yesterday. I haven't been well the last week. So, but as soon as I got there, I just loved it. It was a great night, great people there. Love meeting everyone, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. There were some good questions asked as well. We had a chat with him. There was a couple of things touched upon. Him being involved in the youth team. Still, being alone, he's the guy that's tasked with sending the kids out on loan. So he's the loan manager. Yeah,
he's in charge. He looks after the youngsters that go away out on loan, because he said that when it happened to him as a youngster, he said no one kept an eye on him, and he just was chucked up wherever, and he had no one to speak to or anything like that. But now these players that go out on loan, like Colton and whoever else is doing it, will go and watch the games, talk to the kids, keep them in contact with the club, which I think is good. It's good that the youngsters going out on loan know they've got someone to turn to. And he also said that obviously there will be youth players getting a bit more of a chance next season, especially pre-season. So I was a bit excited about that, really, because we've grown up. We love seeing youngsters come through, and with George Urphy, I think, has got a big future at the club. Potts as well, who had a great season last year at Wickham. So there's a lot of exciting talent in our youth system. We know that, but it's just about getting him in and around the first team. If you can get 1 or 2 in that team, then you've hit the jackpot because you ain't got to go out and spend big money.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Listen, as much as you don't want to admit it, it's like the Declan Rice model. You know, he come through our academy and we sold him for 105 million quid. You know, captain of the football club. You know, something like 300 appearances for the football club. You know, that's what you want. That's what you want from your youth player. Look, you don't want him to leave as early as Declan. You know, in an ideal world, he'd have stayed his whole career. But listen, it's done. You know, we've brought some exciting players on the back of him. So that's what you got to aim for. That's what all kids should aim for. You know, Colton was good last night. Colton was really good last night. Like what I found of Colton is like he started off as one of these fucking stupid kids that wanted to go out and wanted to sort of like thought that he'd made it before he'd made it, that sort of thing, and he wanted to like playing for Chelsea at such a tender young age, wanted to sort of thought he was going to walk into West Ham and then walk back out and sign for Man United or an Arsenal or something like that. But he learned a lot of important lessons, and now he's very committed to sort of giving back to the youth, which I think is, I think you got to admire that from Colton.
Yeah, look, I've been lucky enough to meet Colton a few times, interview him, even play with him in a charity game before. He's just a great person to be around. And as soon as I see him last night, he put me in a good mood. You know, when I met him, said to him, like, look, is there anything you don't want to talk about? I mean, nah, we'll talk about everything. Like, he don't want to hold back. And yeah, he really opened up about a few things last night. And it was a great night. And as I said, the crowd there last night were brilliant. Great questions in the Q&A. So yeah, but no, I'm just looking forward to having a nice, relaxing weekend. Well, I say relaxing. I'm out tomorrow, all day and night. So looking forward to that.
I'm going out tomorrow. I'm going to Harry Potter World.
Yeah, yeah, no, I've never been there, but
yeah,
it's
neither have I.
good. But yeah, I'm up London tomorrow for a meal and a few cocktails, and then going to see a show. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Enjoy yourself.
Probably chose the wrong Saturday, really, because there's the Champions League final in London. There's a lot of fan zones going around. So, but that'd be good. It'd be good atmosphere. Always a good atmosphere up London. When everyone's in a good mood. So yeah, no, looking forward to it. Looking forward to them cocktails, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint Live. We'll be back again next week with some transfer it's open tomorrow, isn't it? Officially, the transfer window.
I believe so. Yeah, 1st of June.
So we'll be hitting you with some transfer videos next week. Looking to bring some more new content to you as well. But thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say: go on you irons.
Go on you irons.
The awkward.